Hi friends, welcome to the Mastermind Moments podcast.
Hosted by your pals, Josh and Sasha.
Join us during our weekly mastermind as we collaborate on how to make the most out of our lives.
Not only are we going to mastermind our careers, we're going to work on all areas of life together.
Let's do it. Listen in as we make the most of our mastermind moments.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm great. I'm amazing.
Yeah.
How are you?
Okay, that's good to hear. To preempt for the listeners, Sasha has told me that she has a lot to tell me, and I feel like it's probably quite explosive. But the fact that you've started off with a great big smile and saying that you're great, I think it's a good sign. Yeah, me, I'm okay. We can get into that later.
You're okay.
I had a full-on mental breakdown about an hour ago, so
Okay, perfect.
this is perfect timing.
I love our episodes because they're basically therapy, honestly.
Yeah.
Like anyone who has a long distance best friend, like here's your PSA, start a podcast, because it's like the 1 hour a week where I'm like, oh, because last night I was going to send you a voice message and I was like, you know what? We're recording tomorrow. I'm just going to not send it. And then I'm going to get your live updates.
I can't wait. That's what we're here for.
Literally what we're here for. Okay, before we get into it, let's spin a wheel. Okay. A physical environment. How do you organize your space to maximize productivity and relaxation? What do you think?
I'm extremely tidy, and this is very topical, funnily enough, at the moment, because I was just talking to my flatmates about this yesterday, and we actually had, in classic Josh fashion, a pretty major fallout, unfortunately, with my two new flatmates. Yeah.
No.
And it's getting to a point where I'm starting to think, am I the problem? Maybe I'm the problem. So anyway, part of the conversation was how I just don't understand how people can live in a cluttered space. For me, a cluttered space is a cluttered mind. And when I used to live, I used to be a very messy person, I think, as every teenager is. There's no such thing as a tidy teenager, right? I don't
I
think...
was, but
Oh, okay,
I think,
you? Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. You're a psychopath.
A little bit, but it's okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's absolutely fine. But I used to live at my mum's. Obviously, everyone lived at their parents at some point. And my sisters were so messy, and my mum, she was tidy, but she would leave shit out, and I would always find myself tidying up after people because I just felt like anxious, and like my brain genuinely felt cluttered when my space was cluttered as well. So I've carried that into my own home environment now with the way that I like to live. And my one major rule for any flatmate that lives with me is leave every room how you found it. So if you go into the kitchen and you use the kitchen, tidy up after yourself, clean up after yourself. If you use the living room, tidy up after yourself. It's not that big a deal, right? And I think that's just the main thing for me, is just, even if I was living just myself or just me and Savita, which obviously we were for a few months recently, it was just me and her, and just respect your space. And it's not even about the people around you, it's about respecting your own space for yourself. And so for me, how do I organize it? I just make sure that I put things away. I never leave things on the floor. If I do, it's because I'm exhausted, and then I'll pick it straight up in the morning and put it in the trash can. I'll put it in the cupboard, in the wardrobe. But I think it's so important. And yeah, I think have probably too high standards. And I realized this yesterday. I sat down with my flatmates who accused me of putting them under 24/7 surveillance, and for the record, I do accept some fault, but not with that. That's really extreme. And secondly, being treated like a 6-year-old. Some pretty harsh words were exchanged yesterday, but in person. Yeah, actually in person. And yeah, because of course we spoke yesterday as well, but I tell a lie. It blew up over text.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have told you that, but it blew up over text, and then it got so bad that we were kind of like, listen, we need to sit down and talk. And then we did. An hour later, we were sitting down, the three of us, and talking. And it was a great conversation. I think that's another thing in terms of organizing your space, communication with the people you're living with, whether that's your partner, whether it's friends, whether it's family. Communicate how you feel in person, of course, never over text. And that was a conclusion that we came to yesterday, is let's never have these conversations over text. If we have anything that we want doing or any changes we want, let's just approach it in person, because it doesn't get lost in tone. I feel like when we're all together, we get on really well. So when we're actually together in person, it becomes much easier to just be nice and smile with the things that you say, and you can't do that over text. Yeah, that's me. What about you?
First of all, let's go back to like literally episode 1 through 10, where you literally were having roommate issues. And I was like, why are you having these conversations over text? Because so much gets misconstrued. Even like a voice message is just a little bit better because they can hear your tone. Because a lot of times if you're like reading a text, it's not right. So it's like something we masterminded forever ago, but I think just an ongoing rule for you personally is if you need to have these conversations with anyone you're living with, and just a rule in general, like if you need to have a conversation with someone you're living with about like living logistics, have it in person and then follow up over text so everything's in writing and agreed upon, you know?
Yeah,
So I feel like that was the major issue there. And you say everything's okay now?
everything's okay now. Yeah, we sat down and we had a really good chat, actually, because I was at one point I was talking to my mum about what do I do, because one of them is like a very good family friend who I don't know that well, but she's more my mum's friend. And I was like, what do I do? Because I'm going away in a month and I can't kick them out now because I'm not going to be able to find two new people in the next few weeks. And then I have 2 months where I'm not going to be getting any rent.
Yeah.
So I panicked and I was like, I'm going to have to kick them out, blah, blah, blah. And then, do you know, I just came to the conclusion. I was like, I think I need to be a bit less extreme. It's funny because I used to complain so much about my old flatmates. There was such a big issue with them.
Yeah.
But now with these two, it seems so minor in comparison. Like they have a much kind of messier living standard. But in the past, I used to get annoyed about. I mean, there was genuine cause to be upset for genuine damage that was being caused. But I used to get upset about a bowl being left out or something. And now it's 20 bowls being left out. And it's a bit extreme, but yeah, we've resolved it for now. And I'm just going to try and be calm and more conscious in my approach with them,
Yeah.
not doing anything over text, and just see what happens. Just see if I can live with it. And if I can't, then when I come back from India, it's not the end of the world. I can move on.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. But I think it's a great learning lesson in the meantime. As far as me, I'm the same way. I'm like very organized. I'm very clean. And I've always been like, I can't remember a time where I wasn't like clean and organized. Maybe as like a kid, maybe. But honestly, I've always been a very clean, tidy, organized person to the point where it's like an ongoing joke with me and my college roommate where one of the first questions I asked her, I was like, I'm a really tidy person. And she's, oh, yeah, me too. And then she really was not. And it's an ongoing joke now where I'm like, you literally lied right to my face. She goes, yeah, I know, but it's fine.
Yeah.
But like for me, I had to be like, your side of the room is your side and my side is my side.
And you were literally sharing a room, not even just like an apartment. You were sharing a room.
Yes, we shared a room. And I just, at a certain point, I was like, it took me, it was pretty fast that I just accepted. And I lived with her for 2 years. It was pretty fast that I accepted. I'm like, okay, we are like, her side of the room can be her mess, but my side of the room will always be super tidy, clean. She would like always make fun of me for making my bed. And I'm like, I don't know how to not make my bed. I can't tell you the last time I didn't make my bed. Like I always make it.
Yeah, me too.
First thing I do when I wake up, always. And yeah, I'd say as far as like my space, I always keep it clean, tidy, organized. I also find that like something I'm like working through and have been working on is like visual cues and triggers. Like for me, I just made this like, we talked about it yesterday a little bit. I just made this poster of like wheel of life, my goals for the year, and then my intentions and just like things I want to be reminded of. And normally I have a vision board situation, and I have that for my like laptop screensaver. But normally I have a vision board next to my bed to like visually connect with what I want. But this, I think I'm trying a different approach to see. And then I also, something I was working on too is this habit that I'm working on breaking of picking at my face and my fingers, which is something we should get into in this episode because I noticed something about this yesterday. But
Mm.
as far as the fingers, I noticed yesterday, but the face is something I like put a Post-it on my. I'm like, okay, how do I break this pattern? How do I break this cycle? I was like, okay, the thing that's triggering me is like looking in the mirror. So like I need to put something on the mirror to take me out of it, which helped for a little bit, but I'm still like, I have a little mantra like on the Post-it on the mirror about being kind to my skin. And I'm like now just going around it. So I'm like, maybe I'm thinking about putting this poster on my mirror. Can't even look at if I like want to get ready, I could get ready in this mirror, but like my bathroom mirror, I can just brush my teeth and not think about what I'm looking like.
Sure. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good idea. Yeah,
Why
absolutely.
not? Give it
Yeah,
a shot. But
100%.
yeah, just set up your environment to optimize what you want with your life. Look at your goals. Have a clean, tidy room. Like again, I think the same thing as you. Like how you keep your space is such a representation of like how you are mentally. And it's such a huge turnoff for me when I'm in someone's space and it's like really dirty and messy. I can't.
Yeah, I don't understand how people can live like it. Like, I look at my little sister's room, for example, and again, she's a teenager. It's quite common with teenagers. But yeah, I just don't get it. And I know for me, if I ever throw something on the floor and I don't put it away, it's either because I'm like drunk and I can't be bothered, or I'm hungover, or I'm doing really badly mentally. And so for me, when I look at other people who live like that, I'm like, you can't be doing good mentally. Like, I do
Yeah.
judge them in a way for it, but I'm kind of like from a perspective of, I feel bad for you. I hope everything's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it. I'm the same way. I'm like, it's one thing if you're really, really busy, but I'm like, I'm really, really busy and it takes me like 5 minutes at the end of every day. Not even 5 minutes. If I'm not doing it in the moment and I like leave stuff on the chair, it gets picked up soon and it
Me
takes
too.
me 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you go on a trip, let's say you go on vacation and you come home, I know obviously home is subjective for you at the moment,
Yeah.
but in the past, how quickly would you unpack? How long would you leave your suitcase for?
Immediately.
Yeah, me too.
I
Okay.
open it immediately. I put everything away immediately. And it also doesn't matter where I am. When I move places, unpacking is the first thing I do. If I'm there for more than one night, I unpack. Like period.
Oh, even when you were like traveling. Okay, I
Yes.
don't do that. Yeah.
Yeah. When I was traveling, if it's my mom gave me this rule, and honestly, it was really helpful when I was moving from place to place because it made the place seem more like home. But if I was in a place for more than one night, I always unpacked. And I might not unpack everything, right? If I'm there for 3 days, maybe I'll just unpack the things I need for those 3 days. But I take what I need out and I put it in like a drawer, I put it away, and then put the suitcase away just to make the space feel a little bit more like home. But when I come back from a trip, the first thing I do is open my suitcase. Because basically it's putting everything in the fucking laundry hamper. It doesn't take long. It doesn't
Yeah.
take long to do that. And I just want to be in my space again. Yeah, immediately.
No,
For
100%,
sure.
me too. Yeah, I'm the
Yeah.
same. And Savita has always found it so baffling. Like, she laughs about it to our friends and family. She's like, yeah, Josh unpacks like literally the first thing he does when he gets back. And I'm like, yeah, because I can't be living out of I can't have my suitcase just sitting in the corner of my room. I can't have
Yeah.
anything sitting out in my room at any given time. So I just don't understand how you can have your entire suitcase with clothes and dirty clothes at that lying around. It baffles me. Yeah.
Literally, same. I'm like, what are these people doing? Are they okay?
Yeah, literally. But yeah, it's an interesting question, actually. It's a good one. Yeah, I appreciated that one. But
Yeah.
the reason I'm here today and the reason I couldn't wait another half an hour before recording, what's up? What's been going on with you?
Josh, I'm laughing because it's so ridiculous what happened, honestly. Okay, so for the listeners, do we talk about I have a name for him, the rug barber?
Oh, okay. Yeah, it
That's
was
just his
different before.
Yeah, we didn't have a name for him. So for the listeners, if you listen to episode 70, I guess it was 2 episodes ago, I was chatting about this little crush I had in San Diego. We're calling him the rug barber, okay? Did we talk about in the last episode of the fact that that Wednesday he just kind of like bailed out? I feel like we must have talked about it on the episode.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I think we voice messaged about it. I don't know if we've recorded since then.
Okay, so let me just give a little context to the listeners because this thing is never happening, so I'm like very content to just chat about it. But to give context, if we didn't talk about it in the 70th episode, Basically, there's this guy I met over a year ago. I like low-key hit on him a year ago, but there was like another situationship at the time, so he was trying to respect that, and it was like a whole thing. So I've moved to San Diego for a couple months, and he lives here, and I reached out to everybody I knew when I got here, and he and I have been hanging out really consistently. So for the first month I was here, we hung out a ton. Like we saw each other multiple times a week for a whole month, basically. And we were driving back from, I was away with him and his friends over a weekend, and on the way back we were driving and he asked me what I was doing on Wednesday, and I was like, nothing. Or basically he just asked me, let's go do something Wednesday. Wednesday came, no text, nothing. I was ready and nothing happened. I was like, okay, fine, maybe this guy's just being a dumb boy, whatever. I had to text him about, and it upset me, and this was what, 2 weeks ago, a week ago, I don't know, whatever, it doesn't matter, just to give some context. And I had to text him about last week. I had to text him about something logistically happening, and we'll get into that too, because this is important also. About, I don't know if you guys remember this music festival thing I was going to last year. I was texting about that, about like payment and about how to get my spot, which we'll get into in a little bit. But he replied about that, and then he said, what are you up to this weekend? And I told him, and I was like, not doing much, and whatever. He's okay, yeah, I'm not doing anything either. I was like, okay, if you want like a friend. And I went back and forth on this text for a long time, and I was doing that thing where I reached out to you. I like was reaching out to a couple of friends about, oh my God, like I don't understand. Why was he asking me what I'm doing this weekend without, and like then not making any plans? What the hell is up with this? And I was doing that thing where I was talking to every single other person about the issue instead of talking to him about it. And so I was like, okay, fuck this. I'm going to break the pattern. I'm just going to ask him if he wants to hang out. He's open to it. I was like, listen, if you're around this weekend and want to hang, let me know. It's okay, great. I'll let you know. And then after that, I was like, okay, he's not interested. Fine, whatever. I let it go. And yesterday, we recorded a podcast episode yesterday. I like had a call with my intern. I went to a yoga class, and I'm like, it is a picture perfect, beautiful Sunday. I'm gonna go. I finished all my shit at noon. I'm gonna go to the beach. I'm gonna take the bus. I'm gonna go to the beach. Amazing. So after our podcast recording yesterday, literally signed off, and I got my bag and I was walking to the bus stop. As I'm walking to the bus stop, I get a text from the rug barber, and he's like, are you up for crafting today? And this is when I called Josh, because we just got off a podcast recording and I was like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? So I called Josh, and Josh is like, yeah, do it. You want to have this conversation, just go ahead and do the thing, whatever. This is like a sign from the universe because of the timing. Like the timing was too perfect. I was literally just leaving my house. So it's like, okay, cool. So I was like, yeah, I'm down, whatever. Come back to the house. I changed out my bathing suit. I repacked my bag with my art supplies, get everything together. And he did say, I'm working on something, but like, as soon as I'm done, we can go to the craft store and whatever. I was like, okay, great. And I'm like, you know what? It's still a picture perfect Sunday, and I don't want it to go to waste. I'll go to the park down the street that I go to every day after work, and I'll just go hang out in the park. And it was a beautiful day. People are out and about, and it's like good vibes when I'm hanging out there. I'm starving. I get pizza. I'm hanging out. I'm hanging out there for hours, like 2-3 hours at this point. I'm like, what the hell is happening? I got a text from him, and the craft store is closed today, so I guess never mind. Never mind on the craft store because it's closed today. And I'm like, okay. So I'm thinking like, yeah, the craft store is closed, but we can still hang out. That's like, you asked me to co-craft with you. Nothing. And I didn't say that, but I was like, oh yeah, like it sucks the craft store is closed. Thinking he's going to be like, oh yeah, but come over, we'll craft. Nothing. I'm like, okay. I call him hours later to basically like low-key have the conversation, but also be like, what the fuck happened today? I'm so confused. He didn't answer. Texts me hours later, and I'm so sorry about today, about disappearing and about missing your phone call. I was having decision fatigue, so I went on a run, and I just got back from my run. Josh, I wasted, and I hate to say that I wasted a day, because I sat at the park and I read my book and whatever, but there was other things I wanted to do yesterday. I wanted to go to the beach. It was a picture perfect Sunday. Like I was leaving my house at noon to go to the beach, and I was going to be there all day. I wasted my entire Sunday on this motherfucker. And the worst part about this is that on the drive back, that weekend drive, we were talking about like pet peeves or whatever. And I was like, oh yeah, like when people flake out like that, it really bothers me. So he knows. He knows that I really hate when people flake out. And he just bailed completely.
Yeah.
And I wasted my entire, and I was almost, there was no way for him to know that I wasted my entire Sunday waiting for this thing, but because he was just like, "Do you want to hang?" And I was like, "Sure." He didn't know that I was like literally on my way to the beach. Like he had no way of knowing that. But I was like,
Yeah, but you put, regardless of whether he knew you were going to the beach or whatever, you were waiting for him all day, and he had decision he had decision fatigue, so he went for a run, but didn't keep you informed. I don't know. I feel as any decent human being or any semi-intelligent human being would be thinking she's expecting us to be doing something, regardless of whether the place is closed or you're going to be waiting for him on the other end. It
yeah,
would definitely be going through my mind. So that's bizarre behavior. But to be honest, what it does sound like to me now is just stupid boy. Honestly, I don't think it's malice. I don't think he is meaning to do any of this. I think he's just not thinking.
I, I'm just like, I'm baffled at myself for wasting the entire afternoon on this guy. And my thing is, I couldn't have known, right? But I feel like I learned, I'm not even upset about it because I feel like I learned a very, very, very valuable lesson, which is, and I've learned this before, don't change your plans for stupid boys. Boys want to be around me, they'll change their plans for me. Like, I really could have just been like, hey, yeah, like, I'm so down to craft later. What time are you thinking? Because I'm heading to the beach and I'll make sure to be back in time.
Yeah.
But that was, again, I could have said that. I didn't, but I could have. But I'm like, don't waste your fucking time on boys and don't change your plans for boys. If boys want to be around me, they'll change their plans for me. And I learned a really, really valuable lessons there. And I'm also on my period right now. So I'm getting a lot of clarity about a lot of situations, but I'm like, fuck this. Like someone who disrespects my time like that. And this is not the first time he's done something like this. This is the second time. And the first time it happened was I was already like, okay, 3 strikes, you're out. There are already 2 amber flags or yellow flags, whatever the kids call it these days. There are already 2 yellow flags I'm concerned about. This is strike 3. I'm done. And then me being like, you want to hang this weekend? He's like, yeah, I'll let you know. And then he did and then bail out. I'm sorry, but this was strike like fucking 6. Like like what is happening?
Yeah. I was gonna say it's a sign, but I feel like this is the sixth, seventh sign. There's been so many signs that he's given you these red flags. I would say they're red flags at this point.
We're red.
Yeah.
They're red. These flags are maroon. These flags are black. What is happening?
Black flags, yeah.
What is going on? And I'm just like, for me, I'm like, okay, this is something we had a chat about with like Vinu, and I want to get into more of the friend aspect of this as well, but I feel like it's not necessarily about what you say yes to, it's about what you say no to. And for me, I'm saying absolutely no to anyone who is disrespecting my time or my energy or who plays with my fucking emotions like this. Like an absolute hell no to that. Like, where is my self-respect? Honestly, I have enough self-respect to not waste my time and energy on this. Especially, it's one thing if I'm like living somewhere for a long time and have unlimited time and I'm like, oh yeah, I can go to the beach next. No, I can't go to the beach next weekend. I'm busy. Like, and I'm leaving in 3 weeks. So like a perfect Sunday afternoon is not like one I can just get back here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was very much so, I need to block this right now immediately. No, I'm like not. I'm just like so turned off and disgusted, honestly. And it's really upsetting. But one thing I also want to get into, it's tied in, is this like music festival thing I went to last year. And the reason I texted the rug barber last week was because I was trying to get, like, the dates came out, were announced, and they're like, okay, you need to pay for your spot in order to secure it. There are limited spots. Like, okay, I'll pay, whatever, I'll do the thing. And I realized there was no text about who to pay. It was just the thing. And so I messaged a mutual friend, basically like this group is through a group of people that I know in Miami, or that I used to know in Miami, that you have met as well. And I texted that guy. I was supposed to get on the phone with his girlfriends because we like needed to catch up. So I called her and no answer and whatever. So that's why I texted the rug barber. I think a couple days later, I got on a call with the girlfriend who I'm friends with. And she was telling me that she's like, oh yeah, there was a conversation on one of the planning calls for this like music festival thing that her boyfriend, who I'm also friends with, we don't know if Sasha should Sasha even be invited because of her and Dr. Leprechaun have ended things. And I'm like, first of all, Dr. Leprechaun and I ended things a year ago. Second of all, Dr. Leprechaun and I have already talked and said that if we both go, no hard feelings, like we're totally okay seeing each other. It's been a long time since we've been together. We're both over it. No big deal. Like, I already talked to him and I was like, I asked a girlfriend, I was like, this was happening. I was like, is he picking sides? She's like, yeah, he is picking sides and he's picking Dr. Leprechaun's side. So I'm like, he's going to choose the side of a guy he's met 2 times compared to me, a friend who he's been friends with for years. And this something very similar happened when I was in Miami, but it happened with me and my ex. And with the ex, I'm like, okay, they're close friends. They see each other all the time. Like, it makes sense in that context. But this makes no fucking sense to me.
And he was, as in Dr. Leprechaun was introduced because of you.
Yes.
So he is your introduction.
Yes.
He is effectively a mutual friend, and he's choosing the mutual friend over the friend.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Fucked
Speaking of signs of the way, the direction you need to go.
Right? Seriously, and all of this happening at once. And I was like, that is so majorly fucked up. And first of all, why am I not being seen as my own person? Why am I only being seen as so-and-so's ex-girlfriend or Dr. Leprechaun's ex-situationship? And I'm like, I'm the friend. Like, why am I being like, oh, like, she's nothing more than this person's like ex-girl? And I'm like, the disrespect, I was like, this is disgusting. So I'm like looking at this group of friends, right? My closest friend in this group is the one who's taking sides and is thinking about not inviting me. And then there's the rug barber who's disrespecting my time and being an asshole. And then there's Dr. Leprechaun, who's honestly being the nicest one out of all of them. But I messaged him to just tell him and be like, listen, I'm not going to go because of this reason. And I want you to know because you're involved. He's the nicest out of all of them. He's, man, that's really messed up. He's like, it's so lame and I'm so sorry. He's, if it comes down to you or me, I'd rather you go because you're the one who introduced me to them. And like, he's being respectable, but still, I'm like, if I had a choice to see him or not see him, my choice is to not see him. So the 3 boys I'm like closest to in this situation are not aligned with me. Like, the group of friends doesn't feel aligned. They're not respecting me. They don't want me there. Why am I going to be somewhere where I'm not welcomed or not wanted? Like, fuck that. And I'm really sad because I really loved this community and I really valued them and really enjoyed so much of it. But I'm like, did I not learn anything from leaving my ex? Don't go anywhere where you're not welcome and not wanted. Fuck that. I need to like absolutely cut these people off. So I'm so done. Like, and the thing is I'm on my period right now too, because I was like, okay, I'll wait till I make the decision on my period. And now I feel like all of these signs, not even signs, all of these, they couldn't get clear where they're like, you shouldn't be connected to these people anymore. Say goodbye, let it go.
Yeah.
Literally all at
That's
once.
it.
I was like, okay, bye. Like, how do I reduce these energy leaks? How do I say no to things that are not aligned for me? Because in the end of the day, like for me, if I'm looking at my values for friends, consistency, mutual effort, or mutual support are up there. And I'm not getting that from these people. So what am I doing?
No,
Really?
exactly. Yeah, absolutely. It's sometimes it takes more than one sign. I feel like with both of these situations, you've had multiple signs that this is not meant for you, and this person or these people have maybe served their purpose in your life. And I think it's an apt reminder that everyone is in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And I think it's quite clear what these people are.
A season, baby.
Yeah.
Season's over. Seasons
Sounds
are
like it.
changing. Seasons are changing. So yeah, that was like the update. I was like, I cannot believe all of this.
Yeah, that's crazy that's all happened, in the last 24 hours, pretty much.
The thing with the rug barber happened in the last 24 hours. The conversation with the girlfriend happened late last week, like
okay.
Thursday.
Fine.
Thursday.
Okay. But still huge. But I would imagine, I think on the surface, that in particular with the friends and the festival, it's pretty sad, but at the same time it must feel quite relieving in a way. You've been shown the way. You've been shown what you need to do with these people.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I got on here and I'm like, I'm amazing because it's sad and yes, it's upsetting. Like all of that is sad and upsetting. But for me, like having the clarity and the certainty around it allows me to just move forward because I'm just like, okay, like you've made it so I don't need to go back and forth in my head about what's happening with this friend or what's happening with this group. No, like they don't want me around. Why am I going to go somewhere where I'm not wanted?
You also shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have to be going back and forth like that. I think if someone is clearly meant to be in your life, you wouldn't be questioning it. You shouldn't have to
No.
be in that position. I actually spoke to Savita about this earlier today because I think she's really questioning her community at the moment, both in India but also here, and who her people really are. And I said to her, what does a community mean to you? And she said it's the people who show up consistently and that you never have to question your friendship with them. And I could list a bunch of people in my life who I feel that way about. And she could list a handful. If you are ever having to question your friendship, ever having to second guess yourself in the relationship, it's not meant to be. Like, you shouldn't be
Yeah.
in that position in a friendship. That's not what friendship is.
Exactly. Exactly. Like it's not it. And it's something to think about too when you are who, it's something we had a chat about with Venus, like you are who you surround yourself with. So be very intentional about who you have in your life and who you have around you. And my thing is, I'm like, I just don't want to chase anymore. I don't want to chase him. During that conversation with the girlfriend, she was saying, she's like, oh, her boyfriend like has only seen me with guys. So he wants to know that I'm not like problematic and going to cause issues with the group. And I'm like, first of all, let's like I know so many people in this group hook up and so many of these people like are in relationships and out of relationships. I'm like, why am I the only one being questioned? And second of all, I'm like, why do I need to continue to prove my worth as a friend when I've done nothing but show up every time? Every time. I was like, you give me a time and a place and I will be there no matter what. Like, why do I need to continue to prove my relationship to you when you're the one being an asshole?
But also, when have you ever given the impression that you could cause problems and cause drama? That's not you. And from the stories I've heard about your friendship with these people, I just don't understand where that could possibly have come from. That's just like a story that they've come up with in their head.
Yeah, it's pretty messed up and I'm pretty done, honestly.
Yeah. But do you feel okay about it?
Yeah.
Genuinely?
Yeah. I feel like, of course, it's sad and
Yeah.
I feel sadness over it, but I feel like, how many more times does this need to happen? Because let's be real, like the same shit happened last year, almost exactly a year ago in March when I went back to Miami, and the same couple, he chose sides and chose my ex's side and wouldn't invite me to a party because my ex was going to be there, even though I literally flew in for it, stayed longer for it, and am also still friends with them. And at the time I was like, okay, well, yeah, he's closer with my ex now, but this makes no sense. And it's just,
Yeah.
it's more just, okay, it's showing me the way. And for me, I have this like such strong belief that I'm like, me cutting off all these energy drains and saying no to this that's not aligned is definitely going to open up space for something that's way more aligned with my life and way more aligned with who I am and what I want. So I'm like, okay, like fine. And there are things I love about this group and things I love about these events and community. I can make that myself eventually, maybe not now, but I know what I'm looking for. And there are aspects of this group that are really important to me that I really love, but then aspects I fucking hate. Like I really don't love the insane substance use with this group. I don't know if I've ever been around these people sober, ever.
Really?
Yeah, think about how I know them. Like,
Of course. Yeah.
like every time we go to their apartment to hang out for a party or whatever, there's always substances going around, always. And it's every time. And even with the rug barber, like every time, I don't think I've ever maybe I hung out with him sober like a couple times, but whenever I'm with his friends, it's always a lot of substances, which like I can get down with, but it's like I can't get down with it all the time. And yeah, so it's like sad, but also, okay, thank you, universe, for showing me the way. I'm not gonna keep fighting this anymore.
No,
you know?
absolutely. Yeah, don't. I think you need to know your worth in this situation. And that's what this boils down to. You're better than that. I think you see that you're better than that, especially when it comes to things like substance abuse. And it's fun. It's fun here and there. But I think if you need to be doing that every single time you hang out with a group of people, should you really be hanging out with those people? It's like what people say when you go sober. Then you stop drinking, and there are friends that you're like, damn, I can't be around you sober because all you used to do with them was drink or do drugs, or I've been there. And yeah, there's so many, every single sentence you say is like for me, another reason, another example as to why these people are not your people.
For real, for real. So it's so insane. It's just insane, like the timing of it all, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It is like a bomb's being dropped on your kind of social aspect of your wheel and the social aspect of your life. But it sounds like it's for the best.
I think
I'm
so.
sure it hurts, especially hearing what he had to say in that situation. It just, to me, that's so baffling how he could come to that conclusion. But it's it sounds like it's for the best.
I think so. So what's happening with your mental breakdown? What's going on?
Yeah, I don't know what it's all to do with my job. And we spoke about this yesterday, where there is a huge amount relying on me getting this new job. And I've been waiting for over a week. And I woke up this morning and I was refreshing my email every 5 seconds. And then I was like, you know what? At 10:30 in the morning, I was like, I'm going to check LinkedIn just in case, just see what's going on LinkedIn. And the recruiter from the company that I'm trying to join had sent me a message on LinkedIn. She hadn't emailed me, she hadn't texted, she'd said, and I don't really check LinkedIn, so I just had this weird instinct to check to see if there was anything on there. And she'd messaged me and said, "Hey, when are you free to talk today?" And I replied to her a couple of hours after she'd sent the message, and then she took all day to respond today. And it meant that I was basically paralyzed all day today. I was just like so stressed and waiting for her call. And do you know what it really took me back to? And I actually made a video on this today. It really took me back to my gambling days, because when I was gambling, I would place a bet. And once that bet was placed, I couldn't do anything else until the game started, until the game was over. I was paralyzed. I couldn't do anything. And that's how I've been feeling over the last week, but especially today, waiting for that call. And anyway, eventually she called me really late in the day, like 5 p.m. so just a few hours ago. And she basically said that they can't give me what I want or what I need in order to sort Savita's visa out. So I don't, have I explained this to you? I'm not sure. There's certain requirements in terms of I need to be earning a certain amount in order for us to qualify for this visa. So it's a huge deal. There's just so much on it. And she told me they can't give that to me. And the craziest part is that they are £1,000 off. There's a £1,000 difference and they won't give it to me. And apparently the reason is because no one else is earning that much in the company. And I even said, listen, I will take, if you can give me £1,000 more on paper, you can take that £1,000 off my commission. I'm very happy for you to do that. I just need to be earning this amount on paper. And she was like, I just don't think we can do it. I just don't think we can do it. And I said, unfortunately, this is a deal breaker for me. I need to be earning this amount. And she just didn't sound very positive about it. She said she was going to go and speak to one of the directors and the head of HR tomorrow morning. So it's not over yet. But after that, I jumped on a call with Savita and we were talking through things. And basically, if the news isn't good news tomorrow, it's just a bit of a disaster. I have to stay at my current job. I won't be able to go to India for 6 weeks. It would only have to be probably a week and a half, max 2 weeks. And then there's a question mark over whether Savita would even be able to come back until September, if not later, possibly even later in the year, if not into next year. It's just a real disaster if this doesn't come off. And I was on the phone to Savita and I don't cry. I have issues crying. And I just broke down crying and it just all came out. And it's not because I feel sad, because Savita was like, she made a joke after I'd stopped crying. She was like, "Oh, you've become really sensitive since I left." And I was like, no, I'm not sensitive. I'm a man. No, I'm joking. I'm not sensitive. I'm just I'm not feeling sad. I'm not feeling really angry or anything like that. I just feel insanely overwhelmed. Like all day today, I'm sure you've experienced this and a lot of people have. When you're so stressed and so overwhelmed that your brain is like throbbing, like literally it felt like I could feel my heart beating in my head, and I just felt so clogged up in my head. And I think that's what this was. It was a week of feeling like that. Today it hit a boiling point and it just overflowed, and that's where the emotion came from. But I don't know, we spoke about this yesterday, of course, but it really is quite a big deal. And of course, there is light on the other side. And if I look at this 6 months down the line, when things are most likely going to be resolved, we're going to look back on this and go, wow, we got through it. But it doesn't, it's hard to see that right now. And it's hard to see the positive side of things at the moment and the kind of being able to accept it. I'm just, yeah, feeling extremely overwhelmed. And obviously, tomorrow is a big day. And I know that, and I know I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight, and it's going to be intense. Yeah, I've had a tough few hours.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's visa. I would not wish visa stuff on my worst enemy. Like, it just wouldn't, because it's just so heartbreaking. And the amount of friends that we have, friends that have to deal with this kind of stuff. I have a ton of friends who have to deal with this kind of stuff. And it's just heartbreaking because it's like a system that's just complicated and messy and time consuming and horrible, honestly.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. And I say the same thing that Katie said to you yesterday, which is be gentle and kind with yourself. And at the same time, I think it's the same kind of, it's like such different situations between what I'm going through and what you're going through. But in the same vein, like it's all unfolding in a way that we just don't understand yet.
Yeah.
And we're not going to be able to understand it until later down the line and after the fact, which sucks in the moment. But I know it's unfolding the way it's supposed to. But it's also just be gentle and kind with yourself, because the situation is hard and the situation is upsetting and the situation is overwhelming, because it's like it's a ridiculous amount of uncertainty about your career and about your finances and about your relationship, which are 2 out of 3 of the pillar areas that make your life go up in chaos. And when one of them is like off kilter, like everything is a mess. But when 2 out of 3 are like a fucking mess, that's really, really, really overwhelming and destabilizing. So I'd say continue to lean on your physical health, because that's the one pillar that like is definitely steady and definitely good. But be gentle with yourself and allow yourself to feel it, because this is a very overwhelming thing.
Yeah. And I've been trying, like today, with the amount of overwhelm and stress that I was feeling, I took it easy. I didn't do really much, if any, work today, very little work at my current job. I meditated, I went for a walk, I went for a drive. I tried to keep my mind occupied. It is difficult because I think we've spoken about the the triad of the parts of your wheel that are so important and that affect the rest of your wheel. And they are all being impacted at the moment, like massively. And so I'm finding it really hard to be gentle with myself. I think the problem with this is that until it's resolved, it's just constantly in my mind. And even when
Yeah.
I do something to distract myself, I went for a drive earlier and it was great. I rolled down the windows and I just let the wind hit my face, and I went out for about 40 minutes, and it was like it was good, it helped. But then I came home and instantly I was thinking again, and it hit me, and that sort of overwhelming feeling in my brain started to rise again. And yeah, it's tough. It's tough. It's one of those things that just consumes you. And even tomorrow, I'm going to wake up tomorrow and I doubt I'll hear until later in the day. And I'm dreading tomorrow, and I'm dreading going to bed tonight and not being able to sleep. And I'm sure I sound overly negative at the moment in terms of my headspace and the fact that I'm saying I'm dreading tomorrow. I'm not looking forward to tomorrow. And there's all very negative language, which I'm sure it is. It's not helping me. Of course, it's not helping me.
Yeah.
But I'm finding it very difficult to get out of that space at the moment.
Of course. Of course you are. Honestly, if you weren't upset about this, I think it would say more about where you stand in your relationship than it does on where you stand on the situation. Of course you're upset about it because it's like it's literally throwing your life into utter chaos with your relationship and with your career. Everything's off balance and then you're relying on other people. It's not like it's in your hands and you can do something about it. It's out of your hands right now. Are you for sure going to get an answer tomorrow?
I would like to think so. I would like to think so. I had the way we left the conversation was that I was going to go away and speak to my lawyer, the immigration lawyer, and see if what they were offering could work. And then she was going to go away and speak to the director and head of HR, and then we were going to reconvene tomorrow. She won't have spoken to them before the end of the day because it was right at the end of their working day.
Yeah.
So I'm sure she will probably speak to them in the morning, I would hope, and then we can catch up later in the day. So I'm sure I'll hear back tomorrow. I really hope so because I can't have another day without hearing anything. I thought I had it in my head that today was the day. And then especially when she texted me and said, let's speak. And then she called and I was like, great, this is it. I'm going to have clarity. I'm going to have certainty today. And then I think that's what hit me particularly hard and probably what pushed me over the edge is that I had these expectations of where I was going to be this evening
Yeah.
and that I was going to have this clarity, but I didn't. And I hung up the call and I was like, damn, another day, possibly another 2-3 days, who knows. And it's also difficult because I'm really trying to be positive to try and manifest the outcome here. I'm trying to think of best case scenario
Yeah.
because thoughts really do have power, and that will benefit me and my headspace, but also hopefully the universe will listen. But I'm finding it really hard to switch from that negative to that positive talk at the moment.
Yeah. Maybe you need to allow yourself some space to just feel the negative of this.
Yeah, but how do you do
You
that?
know? How do you feel?
How do you feel? How
does
do
one
you allow
feel?
yourself the space to feel? Because I can try and just sit there and meditate or lie down and just put my phone away, not have any distractions and just sit there and feel it. But I've been doing that for most of today and all I felt was just this insane kind of stress and overwhelm that just wasn't going anywhere.
Maybe you need to journal about it.
Yeah. You see, I always forget that journaling is an option. It's something that people preach about and swear by, and I've done it myself very recently. I've done it quite a lot this year, but I always forget when the times get particularly tough. I always forget.
Yeah, like maybe journaling it out is gonna help and just let all of it like just pour out onto the paper. And that might just help you get like at least process through some of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think obviously one way or another, there's going to be a solution here. And a couple of months ago, we had this conversation when we first started looking into the visa. And I actually said to Savita, I was like, I hate my job. I hate it. And I can't even fathom the thought of staying at that job for longer than I need to. But actually, it's romantic in a way that I'd be staying at the job for her and for the relationship and to make sure that we can get the visa, which is one way of looking at it. But at the same time, I think like that and I'm like, yeah, it's a romantic gesture. And I'm doing something that sucks the living life out of me every single day for the greater good of our relationship. However, those thoughts last not very long at all. And then I get straight back into the headspace of, yeah, but that means I have to stay at this job. And I think the other difficult thing is that I'm already mentally resigned from this job. I haven't been working properly for a while. I've been doing the bare minimum. So to suddenly then have to stay for another few months, I'd have to suddenly get my head back in the game. And that's hard. Psychologically, I think that's going to be difficult.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot that needs to be done. But I did say to Savita, I went for a walk after my little breakdown, and I said to her, this all may be for nothing in terms of all this stress, all this crying. Tomorrow, I'm going to get good news and I'll be like, what the fuck was I panicking about yesterday? Is all good.
It's very possible.
Yeah.
It's very
So
possible.
we'll see.
Did you talk to the lawyer yet or no?
Yeah, the lawyer said there's nothing we can do. It's basically they have to agree to it or you have to figure something else out. So
Wow. Are you still like looking around other
I
things
am looking at
or
other jobs. I am looking at other jobs. It's I don't know how it is in the States at the moment, but the UK job market is fucked, to put it bluntly. It's in a really bad state, and every time I've gone for jobs in the past, I have a very good resume for what I do, and I've never had issues at least getting an interview, like at the very least, but I think there's a real shortage of jobs at the moment
Hmm.
and a real abundance of applicants and people looking for jobs. So it's very difficult right now. There was a job that I applied for a few weeks ago at a company that one of my friends works at. And I messaged him and I said, can you put in a good word for me? And he said that he's already put in a good word for 3 other friends and none of them got interviews. I think they've had like hundreds of applicants for this one job. So it's just tricky. It's tough out there. And that's why I think I've really been holding out for this job
Yeah.
because it's a likely it seemed like a likely winner and it's the devil I know. I was there for almost 2 years before, so it seemed like I could just walk back into it, but and I could. Job wise, they're happy to give me the job. It's just the money that's the problem.
I can't believe it's 1,000 pounds off.
It's
That's the
crazy.
part. See, like that's the part to me that's let's see what they say tomorrow, but that's the part to me that's it's almost too close for it not to mean something.
Yeah.
If everything else is working out and they like be happy to give it to you and it's literally just a 1,000 pound thing and you're gonna make that in commission anyway.
hmm Yeah,
Like,
exactly. What she said to me today is that they can't put that extra £1,000 on the contract because no one else is earning that kind of money, and if it ever got out, it could cause problems. Which I do cut from an HR perspective, I do understand. I get it, but the fact is, I'm not actually earning that. I've told them you can take my first £1,000 commission to make up for it, and that first £1,000 it'll be there and easily in the first month, in the first few weeks.
yeah.
It's just yeah, it's baffling to me that they wouldn't be able to do something if they really wanted me.
Exactly. That's the kind of thing that gets me. So I think honestly, you're either going to get A, good news, or B, a huge universal wake up sign that it's not this, it's something else. And there is something out it's going to be one of the two. And again, feel your feelings. I'd say go journal, go sit with it because it is a very unsettling, very upsetting thing that you're going through. But let's see what they say tomorrow. And then tomorrow we're either going to know that it's like good news or it's some sort of greater plan from the universe that because it's like it's too close for it to not mean something.
That's it. That's it. I think that's just the most gut-wrenching thing is if the legal requirement was £1,000 different. And the craziest thing as well is that I think they just changed the requirement last year. And before that, it was £10,000 less. So I was within the bracket. And the other
Yeah.
thing is my current job, I'm way, way over that threshold as well. So I'm taking a pretty big pay cut to go to this job, although the commission will be much better. Yeah, it's all a bit crazy. But you're right. You're absolutely right. That's a good way of looking at it. If it works out, fantastic. If it doesn't, it's a sign.
Yeah, because it's way too close for it not to mean something, honestly. And I guess it's not an option for you to keep this job and apply for the visa on this job. It just means you can't spend the 6 weeks with her that you want to.
Yeah. Yeah, which is it's okay, but there's a lot of different factors in that. It means I can only go for 2 weeks. It means I would probably also have to go back and buy more flights just for a weekend a month later. So there's this whole thing we need to do for the visa. It's just it really complicates things. It really puts a spanner in the works. But yeah, I'm sure. I think I just really need to adapt to the mindset of it's making way for something that is meant to happen, something bigger, something better, and the way is meant to work out.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. You very well could get good news tomorrow. You know?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, it's in 24 hours, it could be a completely different story.
Literally.
I could be
And
crying again, or I could be very happy.
exactly. And you could be really happy, and if not, I just don't think there's a like it's just too close. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. We're having some sort of time right now, honestly.
I know. I wonder what's going on with astrology right now.
Okay. That's so crazy that you mentioned that. That's so insane. I'm gonna send you this. My girlfriend from Paris, she sent me literally today, and she never has ever done this. Okay, no one in my life ever does this. She sent me an astrology thing, and she's, oh, this is really, this is just reminding me of what you're going through right now. I'm gonna send it to you. I don't know if it's gonna apply for you. Maybe you'll feel really called out, but this is what she sent me. I'll just read it to you too. But this week's astrology feels a lot like energetic equivalent of stepping outside after a big storm. The air is clear, the ground might still feel damp, but the chaos has passed away. We can see what's shifted. I don't know if
Yeah,
that is
that's funny.
is
I feel like the
applying.
opposite for me.
Yeah, read the whole thing and see if it makes sense.
Is
But
that applying for this week? Like this week we're in now?
I think so.
Because if it is, it's the start of the week, and yesterday felt like complete chaos to me. And maybe
Yeah.
this week is gonna clear up.
Read it all, because it says on March 10th, so tomorrow, Jupiter stations directly in Cancer. I don't know what the fuck this means, okay? Jupiter stations directly in Cancer after months of retrograde motion, bringing a little more clarity to the emotional shifts we've been through. And then this week, Mercury meets Mars on March 15th, bringing sharper thinking and more direct conversations.
Okay. Well, that could line up. That could well line up.
That could line up. We don't know. It's very possible.
Absolutely. Yeah. It sounds like tomorrow there could be more clarity. So good news.
I love
Good
where we're
news.
like, what's happening with astrology?
I
Like,
know,
this
well, it's just the
doesn't
fact
make
that we're
sense.
both experiencing this bomb of clarity potentially this week.
Yeah, it's very telling regardless. But I don't know. I'm curious to see if like it's just us or is it like everyone, because this is crazy.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I don't know.
It's
Hard to say.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, y'all, well, tune in next week to hear about what happens. Who knows what the update's gonna be, honestly, with the two of us, but we'll find out. Anyway, guys, we'll catch you guys next week on Mastermind Moments. Bye.
Bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode.
Don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and follow along on social media.
If you would like us to help you mastermind something in your life, please send us a message.
We'll see you next week on the Mastermind Moments podcast.